Hey guys, so we're in Mauritania going to Nouakchott. We're at a gas station. They have no fuel. So we're going between Nouadhibou and Nouakchott. Luckily we have a ton of extra fuel. I have 10 liters extra, so I will be able to make it to Nouakchott. Actually, we all have quite a bit of extra fuel, so not a problem, but just a common thing in Mauritania. They don't have a lot of petrol. So yeah, anyway, we're prepared. And we're going to grab a little bite to eat here and then head into Auberge, Sahara, and probably spend, I'll be there for a couple days. I'm not sure about the other guys, but I got some work to do, and after that move on to Senegal. So I'm really excited, pretty hungry, gonna get a bite to eat and move on.
Alright, so this was a long day, 300 miles from Nouadhibou to Nouakchott. And actually, just a quick story about the night before in Nouadhibou. We went out to dinner at the only place in town that sold beer, and that happened to be a whorehouse. It was a Chinese restaurant slash whorehouse slash beer dispensary, I guess. And it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had at a restaurant, quote unquote. You know, we walked in, and from start to finish, it was just awkward. There were, working women in the booths with their clients, and the Chinese food sucked, you can imagine. And we were just like really quiet. We'd had a long day, but it was just so weird. And then we bounced. We went to our urban campground, which was, in itself an experience. And then so this is the next day. The issue we had this day was that there was a fuel shortage in the country. And so we've been told that there'd be a good chance we wouldn't be able to get fuel in between Nouadhibou and Nouakchott. So I got 2 5-liter water bottles, emptied them out, filled them with gas, and strapped them to the bike, and I urged the guys to do the same. They got a little bit of extra gas, but it turns out they didn't get enough. And so that's what we're doing here in this little village by the side of the road in Mauritania as these guys rev my engine. They were forced to stop to get gas. So they just rolled up, asked, do you have any gas? And as you can imagine, they got really ripped off. But for me, it was fun because, all these kids were coming out, they were honking the horn. This guy was super nice, actually. Interestingly, I don't know much about the history of Mauritania, but they spoke Portuguese as well as French, and I wasn't expecting that. So when I was talking with the guy that Jimmy was negotiating with for gas, every time he would bullshit me, he would do so in Portuguese, because I speak French but not Portuguese. So that was kind of amusing.
So we're in Mauritania. We're on the way to Nouakchott. We came from Nouadhibou, and these guys had a few opportunities to fuel up, but they passed, and now they have to negotiate with these guys in this little town to buy the little amount of petrol they have for a great cost. But at least we found some. So now these guys are playing. They're revving my engine. They're beeping my horn. I'm gonna let them beep my horn one more time.
Alright, so it's kind of hard to tell from this video, from the audio here, but the horn on this bike was super loud. I installed an air compressor powered horn, which was by far my favorite modification to the bike. Highly recommended. You can see Jimmy here is getting pretty peeved. He's trying to buy fuel, but I guess they took his money and didn't give him any fuel, or at least didn't give him as much as he paid for. So tensions were running high. It was hot. We've been riding for a long time at this point. We weren't really sure how far we could get with the amount of fuel we had, so he just wanted to be sure. And we eventually got out of there. He didn't get as much fuel as he paid for, but regardless, we all made it without issue to Nouakchott. A long day indeed. This is us rolling into the outskirts. We were stopping at every gas station on the outskirts just looking for one that had gas. It took us maybe 4 or 5 tries to find one that did. So if you're going to Mauritania, really look into the gas situation. Don't take gas for granted, as a couple of the guys did at first, because there were opportunities to fuel up right outside of Nouadhibou, but they didn't do that. So yeah, Mauritania was, honestly a little bit of a dump. I'm glad I went through. I'd heard a lot of bad things, but honestly everyone I met, aside from a few border officials, were really, really nice. So I'm glad I passed through. We ended up staying there for a couple nights and then moved on. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.